everyone, and welcome to a new episode from Grade 10. In our episode today, we will be revising together the final exam for the first period. We will go through all the sections related to the exam, and we will see here a few examples together, and we will answer them also together. So make sure to stay with us, and we will be back after this short break. Welcome back, everyone. So let us here start together by looking at this slide. As you can see here, we're going to see what kind of questions do we have in the first period final exam. First of all, we have the vocabulary, and after that you will have questions related to the grammar and also language functions. Finally, the set book questions. So here we are talking about Module 1 revision. So you will be answering these 4 questions. Also, you will be answering the writing question. You will have to write an essay, a short essay, and also you will have then the reading comprehension, you will have the reading passage, and you will have to answer all the questions related to it. And after that, you will do a summary, which is also, you will summarize a paragraph from the reading passage and the reading comprehension. And finally, you will have the translation, and also you will be translating a paragraph from the reading passage and also some sentences taken from Module 1. Good. So together today, we will go through them, each one of them. We will see some examples. We may have some ideas that can help us in answering the questions. We will see together now. Now, we will start with the vocabulary, which is the first section, if I can say so, in the exam. Of course, the total marks for the vocabulary are 16 marks. Now, these 16 marks are divided into 2 questions. The first question, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. And we have 4 questions by 2, so the total is 8 marks. Good. Let's here see together a few examples, and of course, all the words that you have here, all the vocabulary words are taken from Module 1. So you should know them by now because, of course, you've studied for the exam. So all of these words should be familiar to you. Good. Number 1. It is very easy to buy healthy, non-processed food and to go back eating the way our parents did. So here we have the options crammed, atmospheric, inspirational, and wholesome. So what kind of food that we should eat? Healthy what? Of course, the answer here is excellent, wholesome. We should buy healthy, wholesome, non-processed food. Good. Number 2, last year, the new design of the basketball players' sneakers sold out in no time. And the options we have here are renowned, geometric, residential, and relevant. So, basketball players' sneakers. What about these sneakers and those basketball players? Do we know them? Of course, they are famous people. So we can say about their sneakers that it is renowned, excellent. Basketball players' renowned sneakers. It is familiar, it is known to us, okay, popular if we can say so. Good. Now for number 3, most teachers strongly and willingly parents' involvement in schools. So what about the parents' involvement? Do teachers, they think it's not important, it's not necessary, or is it advocate? It advocate parents' involvement, in school. So here the answer was B. So always try to understand the meaning, not only just like choosing any random word. Good. The last one here in the first question, my sister has unbounded hopes and to become an interior designer. So, hopes and, what do you think? Mentors, aspirations, accounts, or figures? A word that is similar to hopes. We can say hopes and aspirations. Excellent. So, if you answer the previous 4 sentences correct, then you will have a full mark in the first question. So always make sure to read the sentence more than once. Understand the meaning. If it is necessary, you can close your eyes, imagine for example, something happening in front of you, imagining the situation so that you can easily figure the correct word. Good. The second question in the vocabulary section is fill in the spaces with words from the list. And of course, also we have 4 sentences by 2.5 this time, and the total mark is 10 marks. Good. So here we have kind of like a tip for you, something that may help you. Now, what can you do in this question? Before you start answering, well, let's look at the words or the options we have. Master is a verb. Detrimental is an adjective. Inspirational is an adjective as well. Appeals to is a verb. Richly and consistently are adverbs. So why are we doing this? Why are we looking at the part of speech for these words? Well, we are looking at that and we are actually trying to figure out the part of speech, because sometimes, let's say that I memorized the words, I don't know what happened during the exam, I forgot some of the words, I forgot the meaning. So here I can like do this trick and try answering the question by using the perfect part of speech or the appropriate part of speech related to the sentence, of course. Let's see together how. Now, for this sentence now, number 5, we have, of course, 6 options. Let's read the sentence. After retiring, many successful people make a career of giving speeches to the young generation. What kind of speeches? So here we are describing those speeches. So we're going to need an adjective. If you remember, we said we have 2 adjectives. So here it's going to be easier for us because now we have 2 options instead of 6 options to choose from. So we're going to choose, of course, the correct meaning and the most appropriate meaning, which is inspirational speeches. Excellent. The next one, the businessman has behaved ethically in all his deals, and that's why his clients trust him. So the businessman has, what do you think? Consistently, excellent, consistently behaved ethically. Good. Now, sentence number 7 or question number 7, my grandmother still doesn't have a microwave as she believes the radiation could be to her health. So what about the radiation? What does it do to our health? Is it good or is it harmful? So the correct answer here is detrimental, excellent, which means harmful. Good. Number 8, the last sentence. It is important to do lots of research to ensure that an advertising campaign to its target audience. So what do you think? The campaign, it is related to the audience, or we can say in other words, appeals to. The campaign appeals to its target audience. Good. So now we are done with the vocabulary. We have discussed the questions that will appear to you or that you will have in the final exam. And now we're going to move to the grammar section. In the grammar section here, well, you won't have 16 marks total, you will have 12 marks actually. But they are also divided into 2 questions. And of course, as I said earlier, they are also taken from module 1. So you already know these rules, the grammatical rules. You studied them, in other words. So for number A, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. So here we're going to be choosing the answer. 4 sentences by 2, total of 8 marks. Let's look here at this example question. I have been riding horses. I was 6 years old, and we have options: just, ago, for, and since. Well, here we have a specific time. When I was 6 years old, we have a specific date. So if you remember, and I'm sure your teacher told you that when we have a specific time, we use a certain word, if you remember, and we use since. Excellent. Since I was 6 years old, we have a specific time, specific date, if we can say so. Good. 10. Does your brother for a big company? So do we say does your brother works, work, working, or has worked? Some of you here may quickly choose A. Why would you choose A? Because you're going to say, well, my brother is a singular, and for singular we always use an S with the verb. Well, that is absolutely correct, but here you missed that we have does. The question or the sentence starts with does. So when we have does, we're going to use the verb with an S or without an S. Excellent. Without an S, we're going to choose work. Excellent. The next one. I really love the car that always parks at the end of the street. Well, here it depends on your memorization and studying. If you remember, you have in the first unit the grammatical rule, the order of the adjectives. So you should memorize the order, and then you will easily be able to answer this question. So which one are we going to choose? We have different options here and different type or the same adjectives, but they are written differently. So we're going to choose A, big, old, black. So we have size, we have age, and finally color as the order of the adjectives tells us. Good. For number 12, some people enjoy walking the trees in the forest. So we have different prepositions here. We have on, off, among, and with. So what do you think here the correct answer? Can we say I walk on the trees? Of course you can, but I'm sure you're not going to do it. Can we say I walk with the trees and going on a picnic with them? Of course that is not realistic. So the answer here is among. So you're walking among the trees. You are walking in the trees surrounding you. Good. Now we are done with the first question in the grammar. We have a second question. We have do as shown between brackets, and here we have only 2 sentences by 2, and the total mark is 4 marks. Good. Now we're going to have like a regular sentence, and then you will read what is told from you to do. So the sentence is there was a delay of 5 hours because of the bad weather conditions. So you have to use compound adjectives. Of course, as you already know, the compound adjectives are like combining one or two or more adjectives, you know, and they are going to like focus or relate to the noun that we have in the sentence. So what are we going to do here? Well, we have a delay of 5 hours. Of course, what you are going to do is you're going to say or write there was a 5-hour delay. So as you can see, here we used 5-hour delay, not hours. If you write hours, it's going to be wrong. So you have to, what? You have to delete the S and you have to write a 5-hour delay. And this is what is known by the compound adjectives. Good. For the second question, I ran pretty far yesterday, but I ran even far today. Correct. You have a mistake here, which is far. You'll have to correct it. So simply you will write further. Excellent. So it's going to be I ran pretty far yesterday, but I ran even farther today. So you're just going to correct the mistake. Good. So you do all of the previous correctly and you will have full mark in the vocabulary and also in the grammar, hopefully. Okay, so now we're going to move to the third section, which is the language functions. And here we have a total of 16 marks for the language functions. Of course, you are going to write what would you say in the following situations, and you're going to have 4 sentences by 4, a total of 16 marks. I always tell my students that these 16 marks are easy to take and easy to guarantee. How? Because you will have situations. All you have to do is to imagine and reply to these situations. Let's do that together. Your friend wants to know the reasons you go to the same restaurant every weekend. Now, I said that before and I'm going to say it again also, that always write the reply directly. Do not write the action. For example, I will go to her and I will talk to her. This is totally incorrect. You will have to reply directly. It's easy to just close your eyes while you are in class examining. Imagine the situation. Imagine, for example, here your friend in front of you and she wants your reply directly. Just answer her in English. That's it. Okay? So here we can say what one likes about something. We can express preferences. We can state advantages. All of these functions are appropriate. For example, let's say you can say that because that restaurant is really good and I really love it and they serve beautiful, tasty food. This is a correct answer. So it's as easy as this. Good. 16, your brother says that people shouldn't care too much about the environment. So what are you going to tell your brother? He's in front of you saying or telling you this statement. What are you going to reply? Or what is your reply going to be? So you can disagree with him. You can say, I disagree with you, brother. I think that people should care about the environment because it is important to us. Of course, you can express your personal opinion, or you can tell him the disadvantages of not taking care of the environment. For example, you can tell him, well, if we didn't take care of the environment, we can have a lot of diseases because of pollution, etc. The next sentence, your sister is on a diet and wants to know the calories a glass of orange juice contains. Well, you may not be an expert, and me myself, I cannot tell how many calories. So you can guess, you can tell her that you are uncertain, you can express uncertainty, you can give her information if you know how many calories in the orange juice. So you can simply say, I'm not sure, maybe 50 calories, or you can say, well, guessing maybe it's around 100 calories or something. So here you have a lot of options to write. A friend of yours always gives you a hand with your English homework. So this is simple. He or she always helps you. What are you going to say? Thank you. I'm really grateful. I will do whatever you want. Thank you so much for helping me. So you have to express gratitude. So we are done with the function, and now we are going to move to the 4th section of the exam, which is the set book. You're going to have 10 marks for the set book, and of course the set book is always taken from the first module in your book. Now you're going to have 2 questions. Of course, the set book that is related to the regular lessons and also the literature time questions. So you're going to, for the first question, answer only 2 of the following questions. You're going to have 2 questions by 4, so the total is 8 marks. Now, let's look at the first question. If you were a dietitian, what advice would you give to the people who want to be healthy? This is easy from Unit 1. So, if people want to be healthy, what can they do? Well, we can say, I would advise them to improve their eating habits and to select either natural or organic food. I would recommend avoiding fatty and junk foods. So this is like a general question. You can write a general answer from your own knowledge about healthy food. Now, The next question, why is it important to respect other people and other faiths? This is also, even if you didn't study, you didn't have time to study set book, this is easy to answer. You can say something like, it is important to live in peace and harmony. This also strengthens ties among nations. Finally, this makes the modern world a better and secure place. So this was the answer to the second set book question. Why do you think building impressive buildings is important? Why do countries build impressive and interesting buildings? Why is that? Well, they are tourist attraction. They reflect the heritage of a country. They help increase the national income of the country. People can have fun and enjoy doing different activities there. So these are all reasons why it's important to build impressive buildings. Now we're going to move to the literature, and of course our story is 3 men in a boat, and you are going to have 2 questions, but you are only asked to answer one of the following questions. And of course for the question you will have 2 marks. Good. So regular intervals of rest and recreation are really necessary. Why? Why should people rest? Why should they take a vacation or a holiday and go and rest? What are the reasons for doing that? Well, you can say something like, we need recreation to relax. Relaxation isn't only about resting your body, but your mind as well. When we give our mind a break, we return back with greater clarity. Of course, this is true. Okay, now just to remind you that you're going to have 2 questions, but you have to answer only 1 question. In your opinion, why do some people get away from city life? Why is that? Why do they get away from city life? Well, they need to avoid noise and pollution. They seek a quiet place far from the overcrowded cities. Now, we have seen 2 answers for 2 questions related to the literature. And here I have to remind you that the previous questions, the set book questions, they are of a general nature. So here you don't have to look or to write a specific information from the book. Actually, here you can write your own answer, a general answer from your own knowledge. Of course, you can always go back to the story or to the book or to the lessons to remember or to remember the ideas, but always write your own answer, the general answer from your own knowledge. So, till here we have done, or we have actually discussed 5 sections from the exam. We are left with other sections. We are left with the composition, the reading comprehension, summary, and translation. And together we will be doing that after a short break. Welcome back, everyone. So let us together move on with our revision for the first period exam. We now reach the 5th question in the exam, which is the composition. Well, composition here needs organization of ideas from you. You'll have to organize your ideas, and hopefully it's going to be really simple. Of course, we have 30 marks for the composition. So let's look together now at few tips that you can do for essay writing, and they will make the writing a lot easier. Good. So the first tip is get started by brainstorming. Of course, you will have to brainstorm your ideas. Try to, as we're going to see now together, you will try to put your information, try to organize your ideas, and then start writing. Now, let your first draft flow. Develop 3 essay parts. Now you'll have 3 parts for the essay. you can do them to make the essay easier for you so that you will have, as we said earlier, organization. Well, you will start with the introduction. For the introduction, you will have one paragraph that introduces your essay. So it will introduce your essay. Then you will move to writing the body. That will contain several paragraphs explaining the main idea with examples. So here you're really going to write a lot of things related to the subject. And finally, you will have the conclusion, which is also one paragraph that summarizes and ends the essay. Of course, here the paragraph can be like 2 or 3 sentences. You can write them at the end to summarize the whole essay. Good. After that, finally, you will have to proofread and make corrections. Always read your composition or your essay after you are done. Read it once or twice, or if you have time, even more, just to look if there are any mistakes, if you forgot to write something, and so on. Good. Now here we have an example of a composition. Let's read together. Eat good, feel good, look good. Now you're going to write a report about 10 sentences, 120 words on this topic about eating healthy and eating good food. Good. The guide ideas here that may help you. How can people keep their body and mind in tip-top shape? So this is the first idea you will talk about. Now let's look at the second idea. The problems they might face if they are not caring about their health. So you're going to write after that about the problems that you may face or people may face. And finally, you will write the advantages of leading a healthy lifestyle. So it's easy here for you. We give you the guide ideas and you'll have just to organize, as we said, your ideas and then just write them as an essay. Good. And of course, before writing, we said you have to brainstorm your idea. And by brainstorming, we mean you have to make an outline for your essay. How is that? Well, you will have to write a short sentence or like 1 or 2 sentences to tell us what is your introduction going to be. So you will write the introduction, not the whole paragraph you are aiming to write in the essay, just a short sentence about what will your introduction contain. Then you will write the body paragraph number 1, which is the first idea that you will talk about, then body paragraph number 2, and body paragraph number 3. Now, some of the students may write these 3 body paragraphs as one large paragraph, or you can make it easier for you to have a better organization of ideas and write them in 3 separate paragraphs, which is, I believe, is much easier. And finally, as we said, we will have the conclusion, so you can tell us here what will your conclusion be, and then you move on to the essay and write everything with all the sentences and all the information, all the details. Good. Now, let us move together to the next section in the exam, which is the reading comprehension. We have a total of 26 marks, and of course, in the reading comprehension, you will have the reading passage. You are going to read it once, twice, as much as you need. You will understand the whole passage, then you will move on to answering the questions related to the passage. And always remember to make sure you read the question very well, because sometimes in the question it is written from which paragraph the answer is needed. So make sure to read the question really well, and we're going to see how together. Okay, so I will start now by reading the passage for you, and then together we will start answering. Acupuncture is based on the idea that energy flows through the human body along 12 lines or meridians. These meridians end up at organs in the body, and illness is the result of blockage of the energy flow to these organs. To remove the blockage, an acupuncturist inserts very fine needles into the body at points along the meridians. This stimulates and restores the patient's health. Acupuncture is a traditional Chinese medicine which has been practiced for around 3,000 years in the Far East, but is relatively recent in the West. And acupuncture only really became well known in the West in the 1970s as people began to travel more frequently between the two areas of the world. A significant event in the history of acupuncture came in 1971 when a journalist from the New York Times had his appendix removed in China. When on a trip to the country with Henry Kissinger, the Secretary of State for the USA, surgeons used acupuncture which greatly impressed Kissinger. To deaden the pain of the operation, although at first doctors in the West were often skeptical of the medical value of acupuncture, in the last few years it has become more established as an alternative to Western medical treatments since clinical tests have shown that acupuncture is effective for a number of conditions. In the Far East, acupuncture is used to treat a wide range of complaints and is also used as a preventative medicine since it is thought to increase the body's resistance to infection. The treatment is often used to relieve headaches. It also used to relieve dental pain and back pain. It treats depression, asthma, and stress. It also treats high blood pressure and anxiety. As acupuncture is effective against pain, it is not surprising that many sports people have experimented with acupuncture when fighting injury. Finally, if you do decide to visit an acupuncturist, it is important that you check that they are qualified and registered to practice acupuncture. In the past, some people have experienced allergic reactions, broken needles, and even punctured lungs while being treated, although this is very uncommon. Good. So now that you or we together have read the reading passage, of course here you can read it twice and even more to fully understand it. After that, you will have to now answer the question. The first question you have is choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. So you are going to have 4 sentences, each by 3, and the total is going to be 12 marks. The first question for the reading passage, the best title for this passage could be. So for the whole passage, you cannot hear like if I just read the last passage or the last paragraph, sorry, I'll just write the idea that is related to this paragraph. No, you will have to write the idea or the idea that is related to the whole passage in general. So the best title for this passage could be, what do you think? We have 4 options. We have acupuncture in the Far East, sports people and acupuncture, acupuncture in the past, the medical value of acupuncture. So all of these are correct. They are in the passage, but which one that is the best title for the whole passage, not only for a specific paragraph? Of course, here the correct answer is D, the medical value of acupuncture. Good. The next question, the underlined word restores in the first paragraph is closest in meaning to, what do you think? Restores, improves, damages, destroys, or increases. Restores. Here, of course, you can go back to the paragraph, try to read the sentence once, twice, until you reach the best meaning. And here it means improves, improves. Excellent. Question number 3. The opposite of the underlined word skeptical in the second paragraph is, what do you think? So as I told you earlier, in the question they tell you where you can find the answer. So here you don't have to read the whole passage again. Just go to the second paragraph, look for the word skeptical, and try to figure the opposite, and make sure here you choose the opposite, not the meaning. You know the meaning of the word, choose the opposite of it. And here the opposite is certain. So the answer here is D, certain. Now, let us move to the next question. We can understand from the fourth paragraph that, so here you can also go back to the fourth paragraph, read it again also so that you can refresh the ideas in your mind, and then you will start searching or choosing the correct answer. So let us together here see the options. A, we should consult any acupuncturist. B, some people didn't believe in the treatment. C, we should avoid inexperienced acupuncturists. D, the treatment is risky and not recommended. So, what do you think from the last paragraph? What do we understand? Some of these actually are not even correct, so you can just directly eliminate these. But then you have some of the answers you may think that both they are correct, but always when you go back to the paragraph and read it more than once, you will make sure what to choose. And here we're going to choose C. We should avoid inexperienced acupuncturists, as in the fourth paragraph the writer told us that if the acupuncturist, who's the person that will do the acupuncture for you, will do the medical treatment for you, if you are not sure about him, if he is not guaranteed, you don't know his history, where did he study, if you know nothing about him, then just don't do it, okay? So you have to avoid inexperienced acupuncturists. Good. Now, after finishing the first question in the reading comprehension, now you're going to move to another type of question, which is answering the questions referring to the passage. So here you're going to search for answers also from the passage. Here it's not about like guessing or choosing from different answers. Here you have to search for specific information. And of course, the information you will look for, they are not from your own knowledge. No, you'll have to go back to the passage and search for the information. Good. So you're going to have 2 sentences or 2 questions by 4, a total of 8 marks. The first question here, how effective was inserting the fine needles into the body? So by inserting the fine needles, we mean the acupuncture. How effective was it? So you're going to go back, as we said, to the passage, and you are going to search for, first of all, search for the paragraph that talks about the advantages of the acupuncture, and then you will have to write it here and then search from that paragraph for the answer and write it. And the answer is, it was a very effective technique as this stimulates the flow of energy and restores the patient's health. Where did we get this answer from? Of course, we didn't just think about it from our own knowledge and write it. No, we went back to the paragraph and we searched for the answer from the paragraph. So in reading comprehension, always remember to search for the information from the passage and not from anywhere else. Good. Let's look now at the second question. What were the uncommon risks of acupuncture in the past? So, what were the risks? Also, you will have to go back and search for the paragraph that talks about the risks, and then you will look for the answer. The answer here is, people experienced allergic reactions, broken needles, and even punctured lungs while being treated. So these are all the risks that were mentioned in the paragraph. Good. Now, after you are done with answering the 2 questions related to the reading comprehension, you will now move to the summary making. In the summary making, also, you will be summarizing a paragraph from the passage itself And here you will have to do few steps or few tips to do few steps, and I will give you some tips that may help you in writing the summary very well. As you can see here, the summary making will give you a total of 6 marks, and in 4 sentences of your own you will have to summarize the 3rd paragraph in answer to the following question. So a lot of students sometimes they misunderstand the summary and they summarize the whole passage. No, you'll have to make sure that you summarize the 3rd paragraph as required. So always read the question very well. Here they want you to answer the question, what are the purposes acupuncture can serve? So, in other words, what are the advantages of acupuncture? What does it do to us and to our body? So here you are going to list the advantages. Go back, of course, to the 3rd paragraph. You can here do something. You can use your pencil or your pen. You can underline the ideas or the answer, like this is the first, for example, purpose. This is the 2nd one. This is the 3rd one, and this is the 4th one. Now that you have the purposes or the advantages clear in front of you, you can easily go and summarize them. Well, how can you do that? You can, of course, it's up to you if you want to start with an introduction sentence and then you start summarizing or paraphrasing the advantages or the information you underlined. You paraphrase it and write the 4 sentences, and then also you can add a conclusion. So this way you will write your summary really well. Good. Now, we're going here together to read an example summary that we wrote, and just to let you know how you can easily write the summary. So now that I am done with underlining the ideas from the paragraph, I will start reading. As you can see here, I used an introduction sentence. How? I wrote, acupuncture is used as a preventative medicine. So I used my own introduction just to introduce my summary, and that I will list all the purposes or the advantages. Then I start with writing the points that I underlined. I will say first, the treatment is often used to relieve headaches. Now, I'm done with 1 point. Then, it is also used to relieve dental pain and back pain. This is another point. It treats depression, asthma, and stress. Well, this is a 3rd point. It also treats high blood pressure and anxiety. Sports people use acupuncture to fight injury. And now I have all my 4 points correct, and I have a total of 6 marks for the summary. So it is as easy as this. All you have to do is underline the points and then summarize them in a short paragraph. Always remember not to write points. Some of the students, they misunderstand the summary and then they underline the points and they do everything correct, and then when it comes to writing the summary, they just write points. Well, this is not actually correct. This is not called a summary. So this is called a summary. A summary is writing a short paragraph similar to the previous paragraph, just in paraphrasing and in concentration of the idea or the question they ask you. So here they asked us about the purposes, and we wrote a short paragraph containing 4 or more even purposes. Good. And finally, in the exam, we have the translation. Of course, the translation here is both taken from the reading passage and also from the book. How? The first translation you will do, you will translate from English to Arabic, and this is taken from the reading passage. So you have here one of the paragraphs from the reading passage that you will have to translated. Now, when it comes to translation, also there are a few things that you can do and that may help actually. What you are going to do is that also you're going to read the paragraph for more than once. Then try to look if you have any words that are like hard or that you cannot figure out the meaning. So after that, you will have to figure the closest meaning to the word. Which one is, or what is the meaning that is most similar to the word? I don't have to like figure out the perfect word in Arabic for this word. No, I just have to read the sentence, try to come up with a word that will give me the same meaning in Arabic. So the purpose of translation is that when I read the passage in Arabic and I read it in English, I will not search if the words are correct, like the perfect translation. I will see, do I understand both paragraphs? Do they give me the same meaning? Then it is totally correct. Let's see now together how we can translate this paragraph from English to good Arabic. Let's read it together. Here we have the paragraph in Arabic after translation. الوخز بالإبر هو أسلوب علاج تقليدي صيني والذي كان يمارس في الشرق الأقصى لحوالي 3000 عاما، ولكنه يعد حديثا نسبيا في الغرب. في الواقع أصبح الوخز بالإبر معروفا في الغرب في السبعينات، حيث بدأ الناس بالسفر بشكل أكبر بين هاتين البقعتين من العالم. So as you can see, we came with the closest meaning to the translation in English. We translated into a good Arabic. If I give these two paragraphs, both in Arabic and English, to any person, if he reads them and he will understand the same meaning from them both, then we did a great job. Good. Now we're going to move to the last part of your exam, and we have here the translation, but this time from Arabic to English. As I said, the English translation is taken from the reading passage. However, this translation is, or the idea or what they are talking about is taken actually from one of the units from module 1. So you will see here we have a conversation between Ahmed and Badr. They are talking about something that you already discussed with your teacher in the class. So let's read together the first sentence. أحمد: تلعب الكويت دورا رئيسيا في دعم ثقافة السلام. بدر: كما رعت الكويت العديد من المؤتمرات الإقليمية والدولية بشأن التسامح الديني. So now you're going to translate both sentences into good English, and again we say that you have to figure out the best meaning that is related to the words here we have. If you think that some of the words are difficult, try to come up with the best or the most appropriate or most similar meaning in English. Good. Now let's read together here the same conversation, but this time in English. Ahmed: Kuwait has been a key innovator in furthering the culture of peace. So I'm sure when you read this sentence in English, you will remember the unit, you'll remember the lesson, because most of the words you already discussed them and took them in the lesson. Badr: Kuwait has also sponsored many regional and international conferences about religious tolerance. So here you have written your English translation, which is a good translation, and then you'll be able to take the 4 marks. And till here we have reached the end of our lesson. We have discussed together the first period exam. We came up across all the sections you'll have in the exams, all the marks, and how you can easily answer the exam. So good luck and study well. We'll see you next time.